Hey, welcome everyone. In this video, I'm talking about the best practices on opening up your laptop and upgrading physical parts like the RAM, which is also known as memory, and the storage unit, which is usually an SSD, but in some older models, it could be a hard drive, HDD. Okay, so if you want to see the written version of this video, you can find a link to my website in the video description. So this is kind of like a universal advice. It applies to almost any laptop model, regardless of what you have. So there's 15 discussion points. Some of them I'll be combining two in one. So like the first one right now. It's talking about, do you actually need to upgrade your RAM and do you need to upgrade your SSD or both, or one or the other? Those are the first 2 points out of the 15. So what I mean by that is, some people are like, hey, my computer's running slow, I'm just gonna upgrade the RAM because I can do that. It's easy with my laptop. The question is, why do you have to suddenly do that? It's been working great for the first 2-3 years. Are you using the original operating system that came with the computer, which typically has a lot of bloatware and advertisement stuff? Are you using terrible antivirus software, which has a lot of advertisements themselves? They're kind of like adware. A lot of antivirus programs are adware. For example, Windows 11 is so bloated with AI garbage, which you can do in a website instead. It has Teams, it has OneDrive. Sometimes they might come preloaded with M365, also known as Office 365 or Office in general. And think to yourself, why don't you use a lightweight version? Why don't you factory reset your laptop and start it clean? You can get rid of all that extra bloatware, like the advertisements. So if this is Lenovo, it comes with a lot of Lenovo pre-built software, like Dell has a bunch, HP, you get the idea. But Windows 11 is awful in itself. You can't really get rid of that stuff. And when you do Windows updates, it comes back, like some of the AI and OneDrive stuff. Well, why don't you use Linux? I use Linux Mint. It's a very lightweight operating system. It looks almost identical to classic Windows, like Windows 7 or XP, the good old days. And it works phenomenal. It's super lightweight and my computer runs faster than ever. The other thing, of course, is the software. If you're using like Office 365 or M365, it's heavily bloated. It's very RAM intensive. It's insane how bloated it's become in recent years, especially with Copilot integration, more AI trash. Well, an alternative that I switched over to many months ago is LibreOffice. It's 100% free. It's open source. You can use it. It's super lightweight. So you can actually load it up and see what it looks like and use it. You like it? Great. I'm going to delete Office 365 and switch to Libre. So sometimes it's the stuff that's pre-installed in your laptop that just maybe you're having bad practices. And same with the storage unit. I know a lot of people that take tons of pictures and videos and then they never clean up duplicate photos, bad pictures, maybe videos of stuff that maybe you meant to delete, you just record it at the time. They just kind of build it up, and then of course you think they need more storage space. So you can clear up a lot of unnecessary files. Another thing, of course, is a lot of phones record in H.264 compression. What you can do is get a free software like Handbrake, and what you can basically do is take all your videos and compress it into H.265, which reduces the file size by almost half, but it retains all the original quality. You don't lose any quality. So there's these practices. Do you need to upgrade the hardware? Are you spending your time and money for no reason? Think about that. Can you even upgrade some of the components of your laptop? Are you wasting your time again? Because if you don't look up the specifications, sometimes the RAM is soldered onto the motherboard. You can't literally upgrade it. So don't go down a rabbit hole for nothing. The next one is figuring out, okay, even if you can upgrade it, are the physical components that you're going to get physically compatible? You can't just go and buy any RAM and stick it in the laptop is done. Same with the SSD. You have to figure out, is your current RAM DDR4 or DDR5? What's compatible with your laptop? You have to also find out for the SSD, for example, is it M.2 fitting? Is it NVMe? Is it M.2 or SATA or PCIe? Like there's different physical SSD fittings or hard drive if you're using a hard drive, which hopefully you're not. So that's that to consider. How do you find out what's compatible with your laptop? Usually if you go on a search engine and search your laptop model and then you type specs or specifications, sometimes laptop manufacturers will have the specifications listed years after they've stopped selling your laptop model. You can just do your own research and figure out what's compatible. The next thing, if you're about to physically go ahead and upgrade one of the components in the laptop, always back up your data first. So even if you're not going to upgrade the storage unit like the SSD, you're going to do the RAM, it doesn't matter. Just do it anyway. You never know if you do something incorrectly, you mess up something on the circuit board and you fry a component. And I'm just saying anything's possible in the world of IT. I've seen it many times in my career. So make sure you're backing up your data, and that should be a daily practice. Even if you don't plan to open it up, you should be backing up your critical data anyway. That's best practice. Again, now when it comes to opening the laptop itself, you want to be in a dust-free environment. Sounds like common sense, but you'd be surprised when people don't follow that, because when opening it up, you have sensitive circuitry and components. You don't want dust coming in. So for example, you're not going to do this in your garage. I really hope not. That would be a horrible idea. The next thing, of course, is prepare good grounding practices. So unplug the laptop from the wall. There should be no physical wire connection, but also consider wearing an anti-static strap, which helps you stay grounded. So when you're touching components, or for example, you don't want to be on a carpeted floor wearing socks. But even if you're not, you can still cause static and then fry components just by touching it. So wear an anti-static strap. They're dirt cheap on like Amazon and stuff. When it comes to opening up your laptop, if you're not confident in what to do, try searching up a video maybe on like a YouTube or something, or sometimes the official manufacturer website. It's rare, but sometimes they'll have videos explaining and showing how to open it up. I know it sounds weird that I'm a YouTube channel owner telling you to watch other YouTube videos, but I'm here to help you learn. If you're familiar with my channel, I'm all about sharing and helping the community. So I recommend you try looking it up. Maybe something like iFixit might have it. And also, when you're opening up the laptop, especially the bottom or back chassis, depending on where it is, sometimes they open the panel where the keyboard is, sometimes it's the very bottom of the laptop. Don't pry and turn a screwdriver to open it up. I do that. I have a ton of experience throughout my career and personal life doing this on various models. But I've seen a lot of guys in service desk where they actually are scared of scratching the plastic with the screwdriver bit because it's metal. Well, they'll be creative and use something like a guitar pick if it's a strong one, and they'll use that to twist it because the guitar pick won't break, but it won't scratch the physical plastic chassis. So be creative and find creative ways to open the laptop without destroying the chassis. Sorry for any background noise. I have the window open. It's a quite hot day. When you're taking out the screws out of the laptop, make sure you figure out and map which one belongs to which spot. So the screws that I have for the chassis of this laptop are not going to be the same screws I use for the SSD. So when you're putting everything back together, you don't want to put the wrong screws on the wrong spot. Okay, that's something to keep in mind. Also, in discussion of the physical type of SSD, if you're looking at NVMe, there's also physical different sizing. Like literally, there's some that are like this long, there's some that are this long. You know, which one will physically allow your laptop to handle? It's literally a measurement of how long or small the SSD is physically. After you have the laptop opened up, no matter what you're going to do, it doesn't matter what you're going to do at this point, disconnect the battery from the motherboard. So this you'll have to kind of find. It's usually like a ribbon of some kind. You'll have to just kind of slide it up gently. Don't push it with the screwdriver. Try to use your nails to gently slip it up. Sometimes you have to open a locking mechanism and slide it up. So disconnect the battery to ensure that there's no reserve power. You know, even if you disconnect the physical cord, at least the battery is also physically disconnected. There's no power circulating. And when you do that, just wait maybe like 10-15 seconds to ensure there's full battery drain from the motherboard. There's no residue electricity. When you open up the laptop, this is also a great opportunity to maybe physically clean it out. Now, the thing here is what a lot of people do with mistakes with this laptop or desktop is they'll use like air in a can or something, and they'll spray everything wildly. Except when you spray the fans, like the cooling fans, maybe there's an internal GPU or whatever it may be, part of the motherboard, is when the motherboard is not programmed to run, it's not running, it's off. You've disconnected the power. Sometimes you'll spin the fan so fast with the air in a can, it could damage the motor. It could really degrade the quality and lifespan of the motor. What you're going to do is hold the fan with just a finger gently and don't let it spin, but you spray your air in a can. Also, please don't use a vacuum. Okay, that's calling for a disaster. There's actually like shop vacs where they're reverse vacuums. So instead of sucking up air, they blow it out. Similar concept as air in a can, but you just plug it in. And again, don't go as close as possible. Some of those reverse motors have really high pressure. Just do it from a distance. You don't have to really abuse the laptop equipment to get dust out of there. When you're installing the actual RAM or SSD or both, depending on what you're doing, you want to put everything in gently. Don't tighten the screws super tight. Again, this is not tires on a car. Okay, it's not like your life is on the line. Just do it like when you tighten the screws, it should be just slightly firm. When it comes to everything putting back together, be cautious, follow the mechanic methodologies. For example, mechanics, what they do is when they open a hood, they don't, finish the work and then they slam the hood down. Because what could happen is they could leave a bolt or a wrench, and when they do that, it could bend the hood up because they forgot to take it out. Do the same thing with a laptop in the back. Make sure you've taken out all the screws and your screwdriver. there's nothing sitting on the motherboard, and gently place the enclosure back on the laptop, gently. Because if you forgot a screw in there, the last thing you want is you slamming the case and then you slammed the screw against the motherboard. It could fry a circuit or something. So do it very gently. Make sure that everything's connected, your battery's reconnected, your screws are all in the right place. Although what I recommend is don't close the case back up permanently. What I tend to do is put the case back on, but I don't put the screws in. I just kind of snap the case back in, power it up. See, does it actually boot properly? Sometimes when you're upgrading the RAM, especially, or the SSD, the first boot up takes a while because the operating system is trying to detect, and the motherboard and the BIOS, something's different here. What changed? So the first boot up might take a while, be patient, but also make sure that the RAM is working okay. Does the operating system boot up? Does it detect the SSD in the motherboard? All that good stuff. And then if we confirm that's all good, shut it down. You can just hold the power button usually, then put the screws back on, because if you have to undo all the work and figure out what you did, taking the screws off again and then opening up the chassis is a lot more work for no reason. There's not much more to it. Again, my best recommendation is try to find other YouTube videos from other people. If possible, sometimes you can find it on the official manufacturer's website. It's counterintuitive, it seems, for me, a YouTube channel operator, to recommend you watch other people's videos. But if you can find one that matches your laptop model, go for it. I'm all about trying to help the community. That's why I made this video. And if it means watching someone else's video to help you make your life easier and learn how to do this stuff, I think it's great. And that's a wrap. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to check out my website link in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help. Subscribe, it literally helps my channel grow. And thanks for watching.